This is 7 News, the voice of the New England.
Tonight, the damning state of our roads. A new report card delivers more bad news.
Keeping safe on the water. The summer tips to stay alive on our lakes and rivers.
I'm Daniel Gibson. Later on this news hour, Israel drops bombs on a school hours before a ceasefire to swap prisoners. And violence erupts after 3 children are attacked in a stabbing rampage.
7 News begins now.
Good evening. The quality of our road network is in the spotlight tonight.
A new report shows that a worryingly low percentage of our roads are considered top quality. Even worse, a quarter of the New England's roads have been rated 1 star.
More than a year on from the severe floods, our roads haven't improved.
I see them every day. No doubt about it, our roads have gone backwards.
The Australian Roads Assessment Program deemed the New England Northwest Road network among the worst in the state. The network runs more than 2,800 kilometres, and just 0.1% of that network was given a 5-star high-quality rating. Nearly 38% was 2 stars, and worryingly, over 25% of our road network was deemed 1-star poor quality. A deadly stat. 322 lives have been lost on New South Wales roads in 2023, and 75% of them have been in regional areas.
The national road toll 7% higher than it was the same time last year and 30% higher for New South Wales. You don't want to be seeing a quarter of your road network being 1-star rated.
The New England Highway is one stretch of road that copped a beating during last year's downpours. Areas outside Corindai are still damaged. The local council is pleading for more help.
But, you know, there's probably a need for 25 million of investment into that network in order to make those roads or bring those roads up to a good standard.
But that money won't be coming in before the summer holidays, when plenty of people will be travelling. Oxley Police are going to be stepping up their presence on our roads this Christmas to avoid a disastrous end to the year.
Please be careful. Please obey all the road rules. Avoid those big 3 contributing factors of speed, impaired driving and distracted driving.
Rex Quayle, 7 News.
The future of a major road improvement in Moree remains up in the air. Funding for the $44 million intermodal overpass project was cancelled by the federal government last week. The overpass is designed to provide a safe route for road trains and heavy vehicles from the Newell Highway over the Inland Rail and into the Special Activation Precinct.
Now, to access the SAP, all of these road trains and heavy vehicles will have to come through the middle of the township of Moree, which is not good news for road users for safety and also ripping up those roads.
Mr Marshall now wants the state government to fund the project.
Rain has been falling again today, a pleasant surprise for many of us. Rex Quayle is in Tamworth with a warning for us to remain water-wise.
Well, Maddie, we aren't expected to be getting this type of rain very often throughout the summer, and after the last drought, there are fears we could get complacent with our water supply. This week, Tamworth received around 52 millimetres of rain, while areas around Moree received more than 65, and Tenterfield received a nice 81 mils. During the last drought from 2018, the Chaffey Dam capacity sunk to a 13% low, and while it's currently almost full, there are calls for people to not waste water.
Townspeople need to be mindful of just hosing car parks and hosing, footpaths and things like that aren't necessary.
And make sure you stay up to date with the SES warnings because thunderstorms are predicted with this rain.
Thanks for the update, Rex. That's Rex Quayle reporting for us tonight in Tamworth.
Well, for more weather now, Kirsty is here. And Kirsty, that rain kept things pretty gloomy today.
It absolutely did, Nick and Maddie. Hello to you both and good evening, everyone. As we just heard those weekly rainfall totals there with Rex, over the last 24 hours, we have continued to see that wet weather. Some early evening showers dropped heavy rain in the west, 20 millimetres in Moree between 5:30 and 7:30 last night. 34 millimetres fell in Walgett to 5:30 this morning. And we've had showers right throughout the afternoon. Windy conditions as well today across the northern Tablelands. It was very muggy, humidity levels around 70%. They dropped in Tamworth early this afternoon as we had that windy weather. but picked up again to about 90% around 5:30 this afternoon. We've certainly had cloud cover overnight, that trapped in heat from yesterday, leading to very warm overnight conditions in the west, minimums as high as 19 and 20 degrees. That's about 5 degrees warmer than our November average. Maximums today sat in the 20s. We are expecting some showers around tomorrow, a little lighter. I'll have a look at our forecast very shortly.
Thanks, Kirsty. We'll see you in a few minutes. It might not be the perfect boating weather this weekend, but the hot, dry summer expected will put more people out on the water. This weekend, New South Wales Maritime is launching Operation Stay Afloat to keep the inland waterways safe.
Shining a spotlight on inland boating safety.
So there's a lot of inland hazards. There's a lot of submerged objects. The land obviously becoming more exposed with shallower waters. There's a lot of users in inland waters, so a lot of people trying to use the water at once in such a small area.
There's a lot to keep in mind so you and your boating buddies are safe. Sudden weather changes are just one.
So wind change and storms and things can really swing around quite quickly, and I have seen personally a lot of people get stuck out with that. So it is something that people need to consider when heading out.
The warning is clear. Be aware of what's around you when you hit the water this summer. Experienced boaties say even still waters can present unexpected dangers.
You've got to be aware of your environment. I mean, it looks lovely and calm at the moment, but we can have a storm come and hit and you'll end up with 30 knots.
However, he says for the most part, water safety is about common sense.
Water safety is common sense, really. And life jackets, you've got to have them.
Regardless of the weather.
They're uncomfortable. On hot days, we still sail wearing them.
Hugh Pearson, 7 News.
Tamworth Council is looking to soften its rates blow with a special rebate for pensioners. It's applied to the special regulator to jack up rates by a massive 36% over 2 years. The state government currently offers a rebate for pensioners that are affected by a special rate variation. Tamworth will be offering another $50 on top of that.
After years of delays and cost blowouts, Tamworth's multi-million-dollar intermodal freight hub is finally getting on track. The move could be the start of a fundamental shift for the transport industry.
For the first time in over 30 years, a train will arrive at the new intermodal hub tomorrow morning. It's been almost 9 years and $80 million of taxpayers' money since the project was announced.
Rail projects do have a particularly long lead time. That's partly because there are a lot of factors that need to come together, both from a planning, property access and environmental planning point of view.
The first 5-kilometre route is a rare freight-only line, but it won't just service local business. Instead, it will connect with passenger and freight lines at Sydney and Brisbane.
It's quite rare in Australia that you have dedicated infrastructure for either one or the other type of rail traffic. There are some exceptions.
Transport for New South Wales completed work on the line 2 years ago, but a change of contractor and supply chain issues stalled the project.
About $150 billion in public expenditure in rail infrastructure will occur over the next 10 years.
The Australian Railway Association wants rail to become the main network for exports.
Regional freight is expected to increase by a third in the next decade. Moving from trucks to rail also aligns with the federal government's hopes to reach net zero by 2050.
It's unknown if the trains will continue to run regularly from Monday as originally planned. The line's operators, Cube, declined to comment on the schedule. Olivia Babb, 7 News.
Local dentists are firing up tonight over a claim they're helping drive up inflation. The Reserve Bank Governor lumped in dentists with dining out and sporting events as problems in the economy.
There's much to say about the driving causes of Australia's economic pressures, but dentists say they're not to blame.
Look, the comments from the RBA Governor were unfortunate. She linked going to the dentist with recreational spending, and I think that's a really poor way to position an essential healthcare service.
In the past 3 years, the cost of dentistry has risen by 3.7%, less than half the rate of inflation. Dr Awad says appointments can be cheaper than people think.
The messaging should be to go and see your dentist regularly or as soon as you notice an issue, not push it down the track when it's going to be far more uncomfortable and costly.
The ADA maintains that saving small amounts week to week to use for trips to the dentist is the better option than private healthcare.
Unfortunately, the people who avoid going to the dentist regularly because of the cost are generally the ones that end up with bigger treatment plans, and then they end up getting stuck in a cycle of needing treatment.
Dr. Stevenson says it's important to get regular checkups. If ignored, poor dental health can go on to cause bigger problems.
And generally more complicated treatment because things have been avoided. So we're looking at root canals and extractions and replacing things, or dentures, rather than just, a checkup and clean is less than $200.
Hugh Pearson, 7 News.
Teeing off for a good cause. More than 100 golfers have braved the gloomy weather for the annual Tamworth Charity Golf Day. Plenty of tradies took part, with the event raising money to help tackle the high rates of suicide in the construction industry.
We know that we lose a building and construction worker every second day to suicide. They're 8 times more likely to suicide than die from a workplace accident.
The event was organised by the Mates in Construction Group and expects to return to the course sometime next year.
Up next in 7 News, the street with no running water, the residents who are demanding better amenities.
And serving up beer with a different flavour, the craft beer juggernaut hits Tamworth.
And a little later on this news hour, we are hours out from Hamas releasing hostages in a major prisoner exchange. Some serious questions, though, over Australia's border security after the arrival of an asylum seeker boat, and violent protesters launched fireworks at police in Dublin.
There is a growing row over the housing estate being developed in Hillview. The Arcadia estate is now under construction, but road safety and an issue of the haves and the have-nots is creating some problems.
Ken and Narelle Collier have lived in their house since 1987. The quiet street is now home to trucks and traffic as the Arcadia estate gets developed. The dirt road has been temporarily sealed, but has no curbs or gutters.
There's B-doubles and all coming up here, trucks, and the road's not made for it.
Arcadia Stage 1 is almost finished, with sewage and water mains connected. But there are no plans for the existing homes on Bylong Street to be included in the water and sewage plan.
So we're running on tank water and bore, or you can't drink the bore. So it's tank water. When it runs out, you're out of water. And then we've got no sewer.
In a statement, Tamworth Regional Council told 7 News that existing homeowners will have to pay for their own mains water and sewage if they want it. Meanwhile, on Rodeo Drive, Chris Nell is concerned for children's safety if the road is open to Arcadia.
There's no sidewalks, so they actually walk on the road basically. And I mean, if there's an increase in traffic, it's definitely going to be a lot more unsafe for them.
Rodeo Drive concerns will be debated at the Tamworth Council's meeting on Tuesday, and amongst the information being digested by the councillors is a report that shows traffic will increase to more than 200 vehicles per hour from the current 37.
A lot of people bought here because of that, because it's a bit more quiet and just because of a general feeling around here, but that's going to change completely.
Olivia Babb, 7 News.
Beer lovers unite. Brewfest is back. Craft beer brewers from across the state are showcasing their wackiest versions of the classic drink amidst a challenging time for the industry.
Brewers and builders hard at work. By tomorrow afternoon, this area at Tamworth Scully Park will be filled with craft beer enthusiasts.
We've got a few beers on tap there. We've got a vintage ale, which is it's a 7.5% one that gives you a bit of a kick.
And that's sort of the brief, I suppose, for want of a better term, to all the brewers, is to not bring the standard products.
Hipsters and locals alike can take up residence on Lager Lane or Pint Place and try from more than 20 brewers selling their latest concoctions. It's become an annual event with more than 1,000 people expected through the gates. As well as the beer, there'll be food and live music.
The bigger, more recognisable names will be here, but it's also a great opportunity for the smaller micro-style breweries to come and join us and not only get their brand out there, but, for the community as well, to see some different beers.
Being a brewer is difficult in 2023. A biannual beer tax has been steadily climbing to make Australia the 4th highest beer tax nation in the world. That's being passed on to consumers. Australians are now paying almost $20 in tax for every slab at the bottle shop, with no end in sight.
Probably not. CPI every year from the government, so the price always goes up. You have no choice, you just got to run with the flow. And we all got to do it, all the brewers are the same.
Brewfest runs from 5 till 10:30 p.m, with a homebrew competition for the amateurs.
That's their brewers, they love doing that sort of stuff every year. They got a licence to do the vintage every year, and it's their own brew, and that's what they like doing, yeah. Love it, they love doing it.
Rex Quayle, 7 News.
The day's sport is next on 7 News, with financial stability on the cards for a historic golf club.
And legends of league hit town for a big lunch to celebrate the code.
Footy fans in Tamworth got a chance to rub shoulders with two NRL legends this afternoon. The Group 4 Sportsman's Lunch has once again given local league a shot in the arm.
A lunch fit for legends. NRL immortals James Graham and Josh Reynolds touching down in Tamworth for a speaking tour with Group 4.
You probably don't understand how much it means to the country when you do come out while you're playing, because you're in the roller coaster, you're not really realising what you're doing. But now to sort of sit back and be able to see the effect it has, it's pretty cool.
Reynolds has played at Scully Park before, but Graham is new to town.
Yeah, delighted to be here and talk to rugby league people. I love rugby league people. It's a game that I love, and I know the people in the room here today love their rugby league as well.
Reynolds has now retired and is now coaching juniors at the Bulldogs. He knows the importance of local pathway programs like the Greater Northern Tigers.
For those young kids to come through from the country, it's awesome. It's nerve-wracking for them in the big cities, so we try and make them as comfortable as possible, and yeah, they're the pathways you need.
The annual NRL game at Scully Park is considered another massive asset for the game in the bush.
It makes a huge difference to the people in the town. They're rugby league people by their very nature. So for them to get a taste of the game's biggest stars and to see them in the flesh, it's so important.
Joining them in the Blazers room was cricketing legend Kerry O'Keefe. All three doing their part to raise money for local rugby league. Max Gent, 7 News.
It's a new era for the Uralla Golf Club. The board has unanimously voted to amalgamate the 100-year-old course with the Armidale Services Club. The move will boost both clubs' finances and will allow them to service a much wider community. The historic facility will keep its name, with the Services Club to take over the management. Hundreds of riders have saddled up today for their first ever camp draft. The event is designed to give new competitors a chance to take the reins in a world-class facility.
A camp draft like no other at the ALEC. Usually the best of the best saddle up here, but today it was the beginners' turn.
We upskill people, whether they are grassroots beginners or whether they are intermediate riders wanting to fine-tune their skills.
The competitors have qualified through one of the many student clinics hosted by Texas Star Performance. The Camp Draft is an all-new event aimed at celebrating those graduates.
Not many people get an opportunity to actually attend something here during the year, so if they get a chance to, this is a really big experience for them and they want to be a part of it. So it's a bucket list item, I would say.
Horsemen like Lindsay Doyle took to the sport post-retirement. He never thought he'd get an opportunity quite like this.
This is an amazing concept, and they've done terrifically well of trying to grow the sport, and it's very hard to get into the sport and find people to train you.
The shortage of trainers is felt by even the best horsemen. Dave Manchin is one of the most experienced in the saddle. He's the star of the show at the annual Night of the Horse. He may do plenty of stunts, but when it comes to camp draft, he's still a newbie.
I'm really a tadpole as a camp drafter. I'm pretty raw and pretty green, and obviously this program here, giving people the confidence to come out and draft, is a great program.
The weekend will give him a chance to hone his skills for a shot at $75,000 in prize money. The clinic and draft will return to the ALEC next year. Max Gent, 7 News.
Up next in 7 News, Kirsty's back and she's got your weekend weather forecast. That's next.
Good evening once again. A low pressure system is generating unstable weather while troughs over New South Wales are triggering these showers and thunderstorm activity. We're feeling humid conditions too, with warm winds being pulled southwards through New South Wales and Victoria. Through Monday though, as we can see, we are expecting a reprieve from this wet weather. That's before troughs gain moisture again early next week, leading to more significant rainfall totals. Some parts of the state could see more than 100 millimetres of rain, particularly if severe thunderstorms develop. Thunderstorms by their nature do give quite inconsistent rainfall amounts, so broadly speaking, across the northern half of the state, we are expecting totals of around 50 millimetres. Let's take a look first, though, to what's in store for our weekend. And there is a chance of showers falling overnight tonight and intermittent throughout tomorrow. We could see between 2 and 7 millimetres at this stage under cloudy skies, although there is that chance of storms around, which could become severe in the far west. It's likely to be quite windy in the morning, particularly across the slopes and plains, with that wet weather around Glen Innes reaching 19 degrees. The showers are forecast to track through into Sunday with around 5 to 10 millimetres, mainly in the morning and through into the early afternoon. Clearing around the mid-afternoon, though, certainly for the west. A warm wind northeast to northwesterly around 20 to 25 kilometres an hour. Storms possible, but that heat persisting. Murrurundi and Scone reaching the 30s, and with that wet weather and the moisture in the atmosphere, we are expecting that higher humidity. Into Monday now, the wet weather is forecast to ease. We can see sunnier skies on the horizon. Temperatures in the low 30s about Narrabri and for Walgett. The Barrington tops reaching the low 20s. A bit of a cooler breeze heading our way, though, as those winds track up from the southwest. Taking a closer look to next week, and that new trough will generate more wet weather from Tuesday and into Wednesday. Over the coming 7 days, we could see about 50 millimetres. That drizzly weather's already kicked off today, continuing through tomorrow with that cooler top of just 23 for Tamworth.
Yeah, cooling down and plenty of rain. Thanks, Kirsty. See you later.
And that is all we have time for tonight and for the week. You can catch up on our website or, of course, at 7plus.
Daniel is along with your national news next. Have a great weekend. See you again on Monday night from 6 o'clock. We'll see you there.